It's time to do a tier list. I haven't done one in a minute, not because I haven't been playing the game. I've actually been playing the game quite a bit, to be honest, but more so, I just haven't felt to do one. But since it's the anniversary, gotta bring back this special. We've got a top 10 tier list today, only based on standard, and assume a star level of about 9. I will explain everything, then at the end, I will also give some re-evaluations, so how the list looks throughout the video might not be the same as it looks at the end of the video, so please watch the whole thing if you have any critiques. And I appreciate proper critiques in the comment section and not just L list. Any comments like that I'll just disregard regardless. Let's get into this video now. Alright, so we're getting into the tier list and we gotta start with these 3 categories here. Now these are just categories that are kind of extra, specifically the fan service one, but they are to be included. Now the fan service one is just there for fun, some characters that people wanted to be included because I did this in my live stream. So I had like 400 viewers and a lot of people chimed in and gave opinions to actually form this list. So it's not completely all my opinions, but it's a conclusion that we all agreed on in the end for the most part. The Ultra Instinct category there is based on every character that can use Ultra Instinct. If you guys don't know, if you just dodge the whole game, you can win a whole game, but that requires a lot of skill. But it's a mechanic that is exclusive to Ultra Instinct Goku, which puts him a tier above almost every character in the game just off being able to dodge. Very few things can get around that. There are counters nowadays, but you could still vanish and then get around it that way, so you could literally go the whole game just off skill, which is why I've put them in their own category. They can literally clear the game just like that. And then the honorable mentions here, they will be elaborated on as I go through the list, but there's one specifically I do want to talk about, and it's this Goku here from OG. Now because he has indestructible, people might want to pair him with a lot of people that are in the list, but I feel like popularity makes a big impact on the meta. With popularity, you know, a lot of people won't be using this guy. I could probably play 100 games and I won't run into him, so I don't feel to include him within the top 10. I'm not saying he's bad in any way, shape or form, but 100 games and I won't see him, then to say he's top 5, I guess it is assessing him, but is he meta relevant? Not really. Nobody's using him, so I'm not including him in the top 10, but I'm going to keep him in the honorable mentions because I'm sure people could argue him in a space within like 9 and 5, I imagine. But based on the fact that you could literally go 100 games and I won't see him, I'm just not going to include him. And it doesn't make sense to include a unit that's not meta relevant in a meta tier list. And then the rest of these guys, I think I'll have to mention them as I go through the list, but I think I'll talk about Vegeta Blue. Mainly it's the fact that he doesn't have a good team to be run on. You'd be like tailoring the team around him and his counter, but he doesn't do that much damage to make my top 10. MVP 17 could make the list, but you'll see as I go further along. Kaba and Kale and Caulifla, really like Kaba. His damage is actually pretty good and his buff cancellation, and Kaba and Kale and Caulifla, they're able to break combos. I really like that. And then Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, it's simply because there's a unit that I prefer over them, and I think a lot of people would prefer over them for how many stars you have to get this guy up to just match the same level that you can get from the other unit, which is why he's not in the top 10, so he's not relevant based on how Diamond works. But that's these 3 categories here. I think I spoke enough on that. Let's get into the actual tier list now. Right, so we're starting here with the number 10 spot, and we've got Gold Frieza with their new platinum equip. Now I've seen a lot of downplay about this unit, saying they're not good enough, they die fast. Well, I honestly think you're just not using them correctly. This unit here is like the perfect partner for MUI Goku for multiple reasons. One of them being that he's able to cancel buffs. The second reason, which is probably bigger than the first one, is that the elements being covered here are very meta relevant. So because they are blue and purple, if you run them with MUI Goku, you would get all the same Zenkai buffs that MUI Goku gets, because Goku's on that for the most part. Obviously MUI Goku has God Key, but you know, for the most part you're getting the same Zenkai buffs depending how you tailor the team. With the purple element, if you run with Vegeta, you're gonna get the same Zenkai buffs as Vegeta, because the purple goes with the Goku, which is like Saiyan, you know, so it works out that way as well. So you can build a very good team just off Zenkai buffs. Now what I want to emphasize is, for the guys that think Gold Frieza is not good, you're not building this team as if it's the 5th anniversary. This is not the 5th anniversary. We are in 2025. You build Gold Frieza as a supporting role character, and they're going to be defensively good. Build them defensively as well, because they have the same Zenkai buffs and they're going to be hyper supported by all the bench and the equipments you give them, versus running them on any other team without the extra Zenkai buffs. They're going to be bad. Now if you want to run the argument, oh, they need Zenkai buffs to be good, well, you don't have a brain, my boy, because every unit uses Zenkai buffs in 2025. So if you're not using them, you're just trying to downplay them for no reason. Really and truly, running them with MVP 17, the support is unmatched. They're able to tank really well. People say they're gonna die, but I've never experienced that, and I have a 5-star Gold Freezer, and I've fought a lot of Gold Freezers in PvP, the same rotation every single time, because it just makes sense. Zenkai buffs run the game. You have MUI Goku, arguably one of the best units in the game, and then we've got Gold Freezer and MVP 17, triple blue with one side of purple, especially because there's not many strong greens right now, depending on what team you're using. You will be fine. The damage output will be fine. The buff cancellation exists, especially because the new units, MUI Goku and SSBE, don't have that. It just allows Gold Freezer to flourish. So for me, especially with combo extension as well, that's why they are number 10. The rush protection is really an extra factor as well. That's really nice and I really like. And I'm not even a Gold Freezer type of guy. You guys know me, I'm an Ultra Vegeta blue type of guy. So I can respect this unit right here and I see the vision, but I know a lot of people will disagree. But you can feel free to debate in the comment section. I will be checking the comments eventually. Now at number 9, we've got the Goku Mini. This was the unit I was talking about when I said I've got a unit I prefer over Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Now the reason Daima Mini is on this list at all, or even this high, is because Daima is still a very much thriving team. Do not be confused with all of the hype going around with MUI Goku Universe Rep Daima is still very powerful, and because of that you need a strong solid 3. Now if you were going to run a 3, you would have obviously the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then you have to pick between 2 other units. You know, that other guy, Majin Ku, and then you've also got this Goku Mini here. I think the Goku Mini, because of his burst damage and his tanking ability, is way more valuable than the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And it's just really plain simple and clear cut. You don't need to do too much with this Goku. Whereas with Vegeta, I feel like there's a lot more conditions going around to how his kit works. This Goku here, he just gets in, high burst damage, the strike damage is crazy, green card get covered every single time, and you know what you're getting. You're not asking for too much. There's not much to give out but his insane damage, and I think that's way more valuable than anything else you can get from any other unit on Daima, realistically speaking, which is why he's number 9. But if Daima didn't need 3 units specifically because of Super Saiyan 4 Goku's indestructible, then he might not make the list at all. Daima wouldn't be as solid because you could just run 4Ku everywhere else and it'll make Daima less of a priority. But because they've restricted Goku like that, the best unit on the team, you're going to need these other Daima units, making them forcefully enter the top 10 by default. Otherwise the rest of them would just be extra characters supporting roles and an option versus a necessity. And because of how valuable Daima can be, Goku Mini is going to make the list, and that's just what it is for me. Now at number 8, we've got Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta. Now people are already not liking this unit and he might end up moving even lower as the days go on. It's pretty sad. There's so many problems with him, but he still does decent damage, especially in comparison to the rest of the game, and he fits on Universe Rep pretty well. But there's one team specifically that's being used a lot. It's SSBE Vegeta, MVP 17 and Cabba. The buff cancellation there helps him out because he has endurance but no buff cancellation, so Cabba is useful for that, and so is MVP 17. The element coverage is nice, and also you get extra endurance from MVP 17. Cabba also does good damage as well, so it just works very well. But the issue with Vegeta is that his build up takes too long. You want this guy to get permanent nullification of endurance on his level 3, but it takes you a millennium to get to level 3, and that means he's gonna be nerfed pretty much the whole game. So only pretty much if you want to get a legendary finish will that level 3 work. In every other instance you're gonna be a level 2 or lower, and if you're overly prioritizing him, you're not taking advantage of all the times in the battlefield that you could be type advantage or having an advantage through other ultimates, because you're only thinking about Vegeta. Now why would you prioritize somebody on your team who's not even the best option, especially if you have better options? Naturally you just wouldn't. But that doesn't make him bad, because if you still wanted to run him, you can get results. They're just not going to be efficient results, and that's why people are saying that he's not great. He's very inefficient on the battlefield when you can do the exact same damage that he would do at end game status the whole game with just somebody else. So really and truly, it's not that he's straight up bad. You can get good results with him, but you can just get better results with other units. But he's not that bad to the point I wouldn't include him in the top 10. It's just that he should be a lot better, but they've built his kit the typical way they build Vegetas, Ultra Margin Vegeta being the exception. He always has to build up, and then it's just one big thing that doesn't even do much. People say his blue card does not hit, and it's just the same thing when they build these Vegetas. I don't know why they keep doing that, and I always mention mention it, but they're very consistent when they do that. And I'm not gonna say they're gonna fix him. He's not that bad to need to be fixed, but it's not a good way to build a Vegeta's kit in my opinion. They need to stop doing that and like selling him. But yeah, that's why he's number 8. Next up, we got Majin Ku, and honestly, it's more of a tie-in with Daima again. Having Super Saiyan 4 Goku need to be run with 3 Diamond members, obviously including himself, so 2 others, is a very large restriction, and for how valuable Daima can be with all 3 of the Daima units on the team, Ku has to make a high standing on this list, sorry. Daima is too good. It's still easily top 1-2 team in the game, and because of that, you need 3 Diamond members, so there needs to be at least 3 Diamond members on this tier list. And Ku is still a menace. This guy here gonna hit you with the most annoying paralyze, gonna hit you with feint. The team is gonna heal a lot. The synergization, I don't even know if that's a word, but the way the team synergizes is too pure and strong to not include Majin Ku in this team, especially knowing how valuable you can get the team to be with the indestructible. And now you've got high damage, you've got disrupt, you've got healing. It's everything you need in a team. Survivability, it's all there. It's literally all there. There's not much more to say. Everybody knows what Ku can do, and I feel like the spot he's in now is really nice. Would you take SSBE Vegeta as your prime unit on the team? I feel like there's a crossroad here. So are you prioritizing an inefficient striker or a supporting role on one of the best teams in the game? Personally, I'm taking the efficient support role character versus the inefficient striker, even though they can both pretty much do the same thing, just in different ways. Depends on how you value team synergy versus individual value, but I'm still going to take the team value here because Diamond is just way too solid. Next up, we got Beast Gohan, Ultra Beast Gohan. Now, I know a lot of people are not going to be happy about this placement, but it's more so about efficiency, and up here, it's going to be more micromanaging. So it's really like the difference isn't large from the units that you want to pick and choose from, but I'm going to keep Beast at 6. And I think a lot of people agree with this, and the reason being is that his survivability on the battlefield is non-existent. He is a rush deterrent, but you can get rid of it with an ultimate, and I think that is where it makes him somewhat inconsistent. The ultimate being able to be blocked is very good, don't get it twisted, but then if he blocks it with his ultimate, you can just rush him after. And I do understand he outputs damage from blocking. So for example, unlike Go Freezer, and Go Freezer is only rising rushes, with the ability to only block rising rushes, they have to wait to use their biggest thing, or use it and know it's going to get blocked, or use it in a way where it's very inconvenient. But if it's ultimates as well, you can get the joint connection out the way. I think one way to make Beast a lot better would be to separate the uses, so he can block one ultimate and he can block one rising rush, and that would make a lot more sense. But because they are connected, it makes the counter not as valuable, so you can just get through him. What I do like about him though is the special beam cannon, which is why he's able to make it this high in the first place. The special beam cannon can rip through all these survivability factors, unless it's indestructible of course, or revival, but endurance is getting ripped through even if they have buff cancellation, which I think is a very big point. His combo potential is pretty nice. People have been saying his damage has fallen off, well, understandably so, but I still think he does good damage in general, you know? He can still do that half health break as well, which is nice. So I don't think he's to be completely underestimated. But at the same time, I do understand that people say as a survivability factor, it's not the best. And also, I feel like because of the teams he can fit on, you can leader slot him, of course. But there are other teams that are just not the teams that he's supposed to be on. For example, Universe Rep, Daima, or Saiyans are just flourishing a lot more, which is why there's less reason to have him higher up on the list than where he is right now. So we're at number 5 now, and this is where things get a little tricky. I'm very in the middle about Ultra Perfect Cell, and when I was discussing with my stream, a lot of people wanted to have him up here, a lot of people said he's not relevant, and I can see both arguments. So in terms of individual value, I think it's very easy to argue that Cell is a top 3 unit in the game. One-on-one, Cell gon' do it by himself. He's that, bruh, and I think everybody knows that. Ultimate gonna go crazy, he's gonna nullify endurance permanently, his survivability is nice. One-on-one, he's that, he can go type neutral easily. He's crazy on his own, but his teams are missing. All of his teams are missing. So then the next argument becomes, where are you gonna leader slot him? And you can leader slot him in places, that's the thing. So it's a very strong crossroad of, is he valuable because of his individual value, and that's why you're gonna keep him up? Or is it his teams are not relevant, so you take him out? And I want to point out that I didn't include Goku Youth from OG in this tier list because he's pretty much irrelevant. But I feel like I still have a chance of seeing Cell within 100 games. I'll see Cell maybe 20 times in 100 games. And when I do see him, he's going to do damage. Now, one thing I do also want to point out, even though he'll be type neutral in a lot of cases, he is going to get nuked by the blues in the meta. Goku and MUI Goku, they are going to be menacing. This one I'm going to leave in the air for now. I might move him down 1 or 2, but a lot of people in my stream weren't happy when I put him at like 8, but I feel like individually he's that. So if you want to lead a slot him, I feel like the guys that do have Ultra Cell will be like, all right, cool, this guy's him. But then the guys that don't have him, or maybe just don't use him, won't really need to put him in the list because he's not being seen a lot. But I still do see him sometimes, just not as much as most of the other units in this list already. So I'm going to leave this one in the air for now. I might reevaluate at the end of the video. But for right now, because of his individual value, that's what's keeping him high. But for team value, you could easily move him down. But he's also a leader slot option. So it can go either way, you know. It can go either way. We are now at the 3 and 4, and you probably saw this earlier in the video. I'm thinking, who's gonna be sharing a space? Well, we've got Ultra Margin Vegeta and God Goku. Now, this was a very big debate in my stream, and if you're asking me who I've got, I've personally got God Goku. Personally, just personally. But we're having Ultra Margin Vegeta one above him just for representation, but you're gonna have to hear out the debates. So what the big issue was that God Goku being green is easily more valuable than everything Ultra Margin Vegeta provides, even though those other blues, Goku and MUI, are going to be type neutral in cases here and there, specifically Goku. God Goku being green is just a big plus, and you cannot overlook that. Being type advantage over the best units in the game is so valuable, it's unreal. But then almost everything else, they go band for band. So they both have endurance, they both can cancel buffs, but even though Margin Vegeta's might be a bit better. Margin Vegeta has the counter, so you can give him that plus, but God Goku has the AoE block. They both have AoEs, so that also gives them a plus, gives God Goku a plus one way. Combo potential, they both got that. I think in damage output, I'm taking God Goku, but just by a tiny bit. But then Margin Vegeta has the lock-in ultimate. So the lock-in ultimate was really the deciding factor, which is why he's slightly above. But for type advantage reasons and consistency throughout a whole game, being God Goku is undeniably valuable. So I'm going to leave this one in the air. This is one that will not be moving. They're going to stay 3-4. I'm not going to reevaluate it. I'm locked in on this 3-4. But it can go either way between the two. But I'm confident with God Goku personally, but I'm not angry with Margin Vegeta just being slightly above. But if somebody told me God Goku's better, I'm willing to back that to the death. But if somebody said Margin Vegeta's better, I'm not even going to complain about it either. Do you get what I'm saying? So we're going to leave that at 3 and 4. And we finally made it to the top 2. We've got Goku at 2 and we've got MUI at 1. Now, these were once upon a time interchangeable, but I decided not to have them interchangeable. And the reason they're not interchangeable is because of the diversity, the widespread use of the character. You can use Super Saiyan 4 Goku on a number of teams, but you lose the indestructible. And that's a big selling point for a lot of people, if not everybody, you know. But MUI Goku, he's that, bruh. You're gonna see him everywhere. Now, if you wanted to argue who's better individually, maybe you can make a case either way. I'm personally taking MUI close Goku, and I don't think it's that close. But if you wanted to take MUI Goku on any of his teams, so you could take his best team, but then obviously it's going to be Goku on his best team, which is Daima, then we're going to have a talk. But the minute you ignore that Daima team, the widespread use of the character literally goes downhill by a lot. And I think that's what makes MUI Goku the undisputed number 1. Being valuable is one thing, but also having widespread use, that just gaps in value. So being a meta number 1 isn't just about being the best unit in the game. That's one part of it. But the fact that I can use MUI Goku everywhere and still get my coins out of him, that's amazing. But I can't use Goku everywhere and still get the value out of him, which is why I feel like he should go second now. He could be number 1 and 2 individually, but this is a meta tier list regarding teams and synergy, and because of that, he's just not as valuable. But because of how good Daima is, we're still going to give him the respect and put him at number 2, which is why I have these guys 1 and 2, and I don't think I'll be changing these either. It's like the top 4 is completely solid. They're not gonna move. But yeah, those arguments, I feel like they're very self-explanatory, but once hearing them, I feel like they're non-negotiable as well. So I've spent some time evaluating the tier list, and there are some things I do want to point out that maybe I'm sleeping on Kaba. I feel like Kaba is nice. The way he's able to support the team is very underrated. Would I say it's more valuable than any of these? I feel like this just looks good the way it is the top 10. But Vegeta, I'm questioning him even moving him one down, which is crazy. I'm also questioning moving Ku one down, which is crazy. But I think I'm going to leave them two like that. And I'm still stuck on Cell. I'm really questioning swapping these two like that, because I feel like Beast fills the exact same shoes as Ultra Margin Vegeta, but in a different way. Because of his special beam cannon, he can break through almost everything, and he's also going to do consistent combos, which is nice. But again, it's not exactly the same because there's no survivability, which is why we have Goku there with the type advantage. I could easily swap these two, and I think that would be nice. I think I'm going to leave actually these two swapped. Cell and Beast are the only things I'm going to swap, but everything else I think is completely good. Obviously the honorable mentions, maybe one of them you might want to move into 10, and again, I already said you could argue about this Goku here, but I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to, because I feel like he's irrelevant. I'll play 100 games and won't see him. So yeah, this is the finale for the top 10. I made one slight change, but that's about it, man. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, man, that's going to be the end of the video. Doing a top 10 tier list can be very fun sometimes. Sometimes it's not very fun. But of course, the way you guys interact with it is what makes it fun more than anything else. So let me know in the comment section what you think about the tier list that was made today. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one, man.